Check it out. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern. A healthy dose of Jersey Girl wisdom. Live with Rev Jersey Girl. Sponsored by New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Greetings, beloved. Welcome. Take a breath with me. Take another breath. In the world of shamans, part of the shamanic journey work they do is they teach people in the middle of processing to breathe in through the nose and out of the mouth. And the reason why that happens is because when we breathe in that circular fashion, we choose not to allow certain energies to get stuck in our body. And it's a great breath to use when you are in the middle of something that's irking you or upsetting you. That kind of breath is powerful to just help keep you grounded and help you feeling safe. Welcome to Jersey Girl Wisdom. I'm Michelle Wadleigh, founder of the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, co-founder for the Planned Happiness Institute and for the PHI Coaching Academy. And I'm welcome you here today. I'm going solo again today with a very particular purpose. And so hold on to your hats, okay? Because today we are going to talk about forgiveness. Now, I want to give you a little bit of history about why I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and I'm going to give you tools, and I'm going to process with you right here on the show today, right here. And I'm going to read a treatment that I wrote years ago that many individuals have found a lot of support in. And so I'm going to make that available to you once again, as I always do when I want to give something away. All you have to do is email me at revjerseygirl@gmail.com. And I know my producer will put that up in a minute. And if you email me there and say, please send me the treatment, I will send that to you. Of course, it's for free, no charge. So what happened was I am, in addition to being trained as a coach, which back 20 years ago, I was being trained as a coach, as a practitioner, as a minister simultaneously, which I don't suggest that any of you do. It was a little crazy making. It was definitely crazy making. And all of it blended together beautifully. But once I opened my center, I realized how much I really wanted to focus on the community at large, which meant I left a lot of my other coaching practice aside to step into being a minister and a practitioner. I love working with students. I love working with people in groups. I love teaching so people get the concepts so they can support themselves. And I like working with individuals. But what I found out was that as I was working with individuals, I found out that when somebody was stuck and they couldn't move into the new realization that they were seeking, very often the pattern of what was in the way was a lack of forgiveness. And in my opinion, which gets you nothing, in my opinion, the our training did not speak enough to teaching practitioners how to have that conversation with clients. So not only have I been working with clients privately, I developed 2 forgiveness courses that I've been teaching now for many years. Started as a 4-week course, went to a 5-week course. It's now settled on a 6-week course. And it's beautiful and it's profound, and people find a lot of healing. Practitioners find themselves being reaffirmed and renewed in their general skills. So it's a beautiful thing. It's the thing I'm most proud of that I've created, and they get large, pretty hefty documents to support them. All of this. So I've read many things on forgiveness, and I'm a real champion for radical forgiveness, and have loved it for years. And yet I've learned over the years that the one thing that I felt was missing was the power of prayer or spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, whatever you want to call it. I felt that was missing from the work. Okay. So what happened was I developed the course, and I developed the program for both professionals and for non-professionals. And so now I do a lot of that. I do a lot of working with people. Forgiveness is a complicated subject at best. It's complicated. So let me just say something to you right now, and let's see how this feels to you. Okay? Just feel into it. I forgive you. I forgive you. The I am, which is the presence of the one as me, that's what's speaking. I forgive you. Ernest Holmes was very clear that we don't suffer because of our sins, we suffer by our sins. So that's been at the very crux of my work. It's also the crux of the very first book I wrote, which is 40 Days of Freedom, a Lenten practice for the modern mind. And if you tune in every day, at CSL North Jersey Facebook page, you'll find that every day I have another affirmation and another day of practice for modern day Lent. And a lot of that was because I believe in what Ernest Holmes said, that we have suffered enough. So let's look at what generally happens. Something happens to you in your life, something hard, something abusive, something crappy, or a mistake. Sometimes it's just a mistake. Someone mistakenly harmed you. But if it was done early enough and you didn't have the skill or the cognition at that time to process it, what happens is that hurt leaves an imprint in you. For many, it leaves or for all, actually, it's all, it leaves an imprint in your body temple, which is why it's so important. And Eckhart Tolle beginning to talk about the pain body, the pain body. That was a very important conversation because some of us knew that, and some of us were working with that, but it wasn't popular enough now. And now with the new trauma work that's coming out, and with the blessed My Grandmother's Hands, I can't sing him enough praises, Resma Menachem, to talk about the trauma in the pain body, and all the current teachers that are talking about how trauma is handed down through our DNA, and we carry it from decades and many prior family generations. So we have this, and that impact or that imprint that got left in our body and left in our subconscious. What happens is then that imprint, uninterrupted, unhealed, begins to impact and inform your current life. It informs you by having you attract certain people or avoid certain people. It impacts you by having you attract or avoid life situations. It has you remarry the same spouse over and over again, get the same job. It's the whole shadow work thing, but all that's tied in with forgiveness. It's all tied together. So when I was working with my clients, I thought I gotta help them with this. So I began to teach forgiveness straight on, because what I also know is that all of these things are housed in our subconscious. They are all housed in our subconscious. And if you don't really have the wherewithal, you don't know how to uproot it from the subconscious, it will continue to recycle and reinform and continue to be like a painful scab. Okay, 1 minute. Just take a minute. You are here, New Thought Media Network. This is the Jersey Girl Wisdom Show, happening every week on Thursdays at noon. Please continue to listen in not only to my station, but the other stations. We have so many beautiful, vibrant people bringing you programming, bringing you prayer, bringing you education. Give, give generously to New Thought Media Network, please. Why? Because I want them to stay alive so we can keep serving that organization, so that that organization can keep serving you. So if you will, be generous with your giving for the New Thought Media Network. Okay. So bear with me. Bear with me. If you're listening now or listening later, don't run. Don't run yet. When we suffer years beyond an event, we are keeping it alive and we are re-injuring ourselves. We get re-injured over and over and over again by not healing what was there, by not actively doing what we can do to heal it. Yes, we all know this. Hurt people hurt people. But I'm here to tell you, heal people as they heal. And by the way, if you are watching, please share this. Please share this message, even now as you're watching on Facebook, because this message is important. It's timely. It's always timely. And hopefully as a new voice, it'll be heard differently. So when I teach my forgiveness courses, what happens is it's a little bit of a bait and switch, because first we talk about forgiving others. But truth be told, it is never just about others. Never. It is about, how long have I allowed this pain to pain me? How long have I allowed this pain to inform my being? And so always, especially in the courses that I teach, forgiveness has always two aspects. One is, yes, forgive the other. Forgive the one that might have initially sparked it, the initial perpetrator, yes. But we also then, I turn and I say, we have to forgive ourselves for holding on to it, for believing in the pain. Because when you believe in the pain, you subscribe. When you become an active subscriber, the pain continues to damage you and pain you. And it blinds you to your beauty. I'm seeing, thank you, Bonnie. It blinds you to your beauty. It blinds you to your healing qualities. So we do this to clear out our worldview, because I can't even see you clearly enough or love you clearly enough if I'm blinded by my pain, my stories, my suffering, my all of that. This is kind of basic, but what happens is, I'm telling you, this has to happen on a daily basis. So in the courses, we start first with forgiving others, and very slowly I kind of to the best of my ability, I'm going to use a word that might not sound very popular here, but I seduce people into wanting more. And so it's a slow process. We have to clean up what was. We have to clean up where it lives inside of us. But we also have to um, stay fresh. The way we stay fresh is with spiritual practices. Because, and if you've been on my show before, you've heard this a little bit. I suffer because I judge you first as having harmed me. Now, there are a lot of people who might deserve that judgment, and I'm one of them. I've lived a life where I know what that to be harmed and to be a victim. But there's a difference there's a difference between being victimized and being a victim. I'll talk about that another time. So, in order to stay fresh, I stay aware that if I don't judge you as wrong and I don't object to you and I don't object to your being and I don't blame you, then in that, I'm taking responsibility and then I don't have to forgive you. Not a simple subject, folks, because some of you right now are saying, well, so and so abused me and who betrayed me and who left me. I get it. Life is not going to stop being life. Here's the question I want you to ponder. What do you want more? Do you want your freedom? Or do you want your righteousness about being wronged? Do you want your freedom that leads to being fully expressed? Or do you want the pain that comes with constantly regurgitating the story? You gotta decide. And you gotta decide now, because now is the only moment. You and I don't have a minute to waste on what was. Life is fleeting. You might not think so, but it's fleeting. All right, I could go on and on and on talking about the processes and all of that, but I promised you a couple of techniques. So one of the things that, and you might not be able, you might have to listen back and write this down if you want. What happens is sometimes we just have little broken promises. We have annoyances, someone irks us. So there are different levels of hurt and pain that we experience. But it's very important to figure out how to take care of those in addition to taking care of the bigger hurts. But the big hurts, what I call the tissue issues, I don't remember where I learned that from, otherwise I'd credit them. We're not going to take care of the tissue issues today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about self-forgiveness. And I'm going to talk, yes, it takes a lot of thought control to let go of negative feelings and thoughts. Yes. Training ourselves to have positive thoughts is a practice we all need to learn. Correct, Terry. And in addition, when you know prayer and spiritual mind treatment or hypnosis, you're able to impact the subconscious where this pain is rooted. That's one of the critical differences of the programs that I teach. And that's what, if you're a metaphysician, you have access to pretty easily. So to take the power, we want to take the power out of something, someone, or a situation. So I'm going to read to you a 5-line script that I use. And I'm just for the fun of it. And Neil, if you're watching, I really don't mean this. Neil's my husband. I'm just going to use his name because I don't want to use anybody else's name and you think I'm talking about you. So what this prayer does, this prayer takes the power out of thinking it's someone else and pulls it back into the self. So listen, it's not really a prayer, it's a script. So this is how it goes. Neil is not the person I wanted him to be. Neil does not possess the characteristics that I wish he did. Here's the big one. Neil is not responsible for my continued upset. I alone am responsible for my response. I free Neil from my mind, and I am made free. I'll say that again. I free Neil from my mind, and I am made free. Can you get that? That script pulls it from being out there, outside of something I can't control, to inside, where is the only place that I can heal and repair and find solace and find freedom. You following me with this? Okay. I have made mistakes. Have you ever made a mistake? I'm sure you have. We all have. So another thing I'm going to read to you. And I would actually encourage you doing this on a regular basis, this form of, or something like it. And I encourage you to do this in front of a mirror. So I'm going to read this to you just to show you this is the kind of work that we do in this class. I forgive myself for rash, unwise decisions. I forgive myself for my lack of self-care. I forgive myself for any extended suffering that I've allowed. And let me speak the words for you as you're listening. I forgive myself for eating in a way that does not support my health. I forgive myself for allowing my mind to be toxic and filled with judgments. I forgive myself for not standing up for myself. I forgive myself for judging others. I forgive myself for not demanding more of myself and my life. I forgive myself for not forgiving myself. I forgive myself for for not pursuing my dreams. I forgive myself for blaming others. I forgive myself for not loving myself in the way that I truly deserve. I forgive myself for not believing in myself. I forgive myself for suffering longer than I deserve. Feel into that, folks. And by the way, if you want to know more about this, you can go to either spiriteducation.edu.com, I believe, Reverend Jim Stark, or my website, Planned Happiness Institute, and reach out to me. I'd love to tell you more about it. But this is the work. So we begin by cleaning up what was. We go into the spiritual practice of non-judgment so we could stay current in the life. Because if any of you are old enough to remember Ken Keyes and the Handbook to Higher Consciousness, whether you give offense or take offense, you are the offender and the offendee. And that's a major ouch to a lot of people. But that ouch it doesn't really, shouldn't have the same ouch when you realize that when I admit that, then I'm given the power to transform it. You need to be able to transform it. Okay. How are we doing? And you know that if you have a question and you type it in, that Diego, my producer, can answer a question. I want you to ask a question if you have it, specifically about forgiveness. Because I know that often, and it happens in my class too, but we work so slowly, people feel safe, that people wonder, well, what about this? And what about, child abuse? And what about, all those things exist. And you still have to ask yourself, do you want your freedom, or do you want the pain of your suffering? That's the ultimate question. That's the ultimate question. Now, the journey from one to the other isn't necessarily, it's not quick like that. It's not fast like that, but it's possible. I just need you to believe it's possible. I just need you to believe that the presence of the divine one by you, in accord with using the technology of prayer treatment, that you can uproot from the subconscious, that you can uproot where that imprint was left. And Ernest Holmes was clear about this. The pain of what was and the pain of our past still lives, and it's still alive within us. He said that. He said that. That's not just me or any modern day person. He said that. Sorry, I have a hair in my face. But when you feel worthy of self-forgiveness and you practice that, not only do you begin to find your own freedom, but what happens is you begin to cultivate compassion for yourself for when you make another mistake, because you will, and when others make mistakes, because they will. It's just the way life is. So I'm going to close today with a treatment, and I've created this as a PDF. It's available to you. If you email me at revjerseygirl.com, I will send this PDF to you. If I can be of support to you when you're processing, not only is it me, but I have other practitioners I've trained to do this forgiveness work, we'll get somebody for you. Don't fool yourself, though, please. Even because some people will say, well, I've done all this work. And I'm gonna tell you where to look for a clue. If you have patterns that you keep recirculating through, circulating through. If you have illnesses that you can't quite get a hold of, if you have relationships that just never seem to work, all those different things, very likely, and I would say 100%, but I don't want to be arrogant, very likely at the heart of that is something or someone you have not forgiven, and maybe it might just be yourself. It might just be yourself. But reach out, because you're not at the mercy of that. You're not. So this treatment is a little bit on the long side, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like long treatments. But when you're talking about healing from something that's been in your life, very possibly for decades, it takes that time. Now, remember, as you read this, you're forgiving yourself very possibly for something that's current, very possibly for something that you've done, but you could potentially just be forgiving yourself for allowing yourself to suffer. You don't deserve to suffer. Your freedom is what you deserve. That's your divine birthright. So I'm going to read this verbatim. So I'm going to be looking down my page for a little bit, because no, I do not have this memorized. So it says, to begin, I acknowledge that who I was when I erred is not who I am now. Now, that's an important thing, because most of us are thinking about forgiveness, and I would encourage the awareness that who you were in the past when you made that mistake is not being you are now. You've grown, you've matured, your consciousness has expanded. Let's be generous with ourselves with that. The state of consciousness that existed when I transgressed against another or myself is not the state of consciousness that I am now. I am an evolved version of myself, and I know with full confidence that I deserve to be free of the pain and suffering that I have endured. And this is my gift to you, and I mean this sincerely. And if you're home and if you're listening, you might even want to close your eyes and let me speak this word for you on your behalf. One life, one spirit, one essence of good flows through me in all moments of my life. This life is power, is love, and it transforms me every time I open and become available to it. It expresses as my life in the most beautiful and stunning ways. This one beautiful and powerful life and I are one now and forevermore. The more conscious I am of my value in this life, the more conscious I am of the freedom that I desire and deserve to express, the more I declare my willingness to practice true self-forgiveness and self-compassion. I am not now limited to who I have been, to anything that has ever happened to me, or for my mistakes and transgressions. Today, right now, I commit to forgiving myself completely. Anywhere in my subconscious where there has been a collection of memories stories, pain, and most specifically, where these elements have created beliefs that have informed my life and my choices, all of it is right now uprooted, cast out, and neutralized, never again to have any power or influence over me. This will never again determine who I am. I have one identity, God, one authority, God. In this one, I rest and live and have my being. Today, in the most conscious way possible, I choose to forgive myself, my past, and my mistakes. I forgive myself for any harm that I have ever perpetrated upon another. I forgive myself for any harm that I have perpetrated upon myself. I forgive myself for lingering in the suffering of all my self judgments. Today, I declare that I am done. I am done. I choose freedom. I choose love. I choose to love myself as I am and as I have always been. I love the all of me. I recognize the innocence that lives within me and always has. I recognize that there is a place within that has never been hurt, harmed, or injured in any way. This is the truth of my being. I am free, free to love, free to be fully expressed, free to be open to receive a bounty of good that I have never known before this moment, with bountiful and unending gratitude. I surrender this word to love and to law, and so it is. Take that in, take a breath. Remember, please, who you are. Remember who you are. I bring this to you from the New Thought Media Network, Rev Jersey Girl at Jersey Girl Wisdom every Thursday at noon. One day soon, I'm going to be sharing the space with Laura Topper. I thought it'd be fun for she and I to share together, and we will be having some other guests. Thank you, Angelica. Yes, and so it is. And but I will keep bringing you the best of what I've got in every moment. And what I bring to you is always about you finding your freedom. All I want is to have my own freedom. All I want is to wake up in the morning and not carrying what was into my new day. And I do that as thoroughly as I can every moment of every day. So I bring this to you from my Jersey Girl wisdom, from the heartfelt center of New Jersey, and a beautiful place to live and be, trusting that the enthusiasm and the feistiness that lives in me also lives in you. You want to fight for yourself. You want freedom more than the pain. If you can join me in that, you can have that. Let us go forth together to be absolutely brilliant. So I say to you, be well, be happy, and be brilliant. I love you. I thank you for being here. And I really hope that this show and all that I've presented every week is something that benefits you. Be well. Have a good day. Your mind and your consciousness is either your greatest friend and a tool that you have sharpened and learned how to use on your behalf, or it is a detriment because you haven't learned to think in a disciplined manner. The class that I'm about to teach is to help you develop the tools of a disciplined mind and to reap the benefits of how to refine that tool and use it on your behalf. I am so glad you're investigating this class, and I look forward to you participating in this 2-week workshop to jumpstart a life of being more conscious, more awake, and having a mind as a sharp tool. I will see you soon. Signing off.